So, the latest PlayStation State of Play has arrived. This year was meant to be a big one. I mean, hell, they rented out movie theaters to show this off. Like, holy shit, I don't think that's ever happened before. This is insane. And for an hour, we got treated to some of the biggest titles coming to PlayStation later this year and early next year. We kick right off on Wolverine by Insomniac, the biggest PlayStation game this year. These guys did Spider-Man, and honestly, it shows. While it isn't exactly like those games, you can definitely tell they kept the same Spider-Man formula. This game looks more combat focused and still will have you focused on using the environment a lot. Now, Jean Grey was shown in this one as well as an AI partner who will help out in some combat scenarios. There is a rage mode, but honestly, it doesn't look that impressive. Very much a hack and slash type of game. It does make you feel like Wolverine with all the blood and violence, but in the trailer itself, there were a lot of cutscenes. Maybe half to 3/4 of it, which doesn't help the whole movie vibe Sony has been known for these last two generations. It ends with more characters from Logan's past, but honestly, it does nothing for me to want to play it. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Now, this one looks like it will be fun. A 3-on-3 fighter by Arc System Works. It is very anime, and honestly, I would love to get this. However, I suck at fighters and most likely will not be getting this myself. They showed off more characters that weren't in the beta from before, with more to come. This also seems to be showing off what the story may be. It looks like a being from space or a different universe may be making the Marvel world fight each other for a TV show or event. While not a new concept, this works pretty well within the Marvel universe, given how weird it can be at times. The art style is pure anime, and like I said before, I am loving it. I will say that the last game I played that was made by this team was Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I was very bad at that, like horrible. The beta footage I saw is similar to that, so who knows? Maybe I'll get it on sale for the story. We shall see. Next is Rayman! Holy shit! Last game I played was on the Xbox One, and I was okay at it. This one, Rayman Legends Retold, looks like it will be a mix of 2D and 3D platforming, which is weird in my opinion, but we shall see if it works. But this looks very goofy and fun. I will most likely be getting it. I miss simple platforms like this with a 2.5D, as it's called, I believe, platforming. I'm wondering how this will change the feel of the game overall. Now, I'm not sure if this is a remake or a current gen update, but it looks amazing. I'm not sure how I feel about the voice acting itself, but that doesn't take away from the game, so I'm not worried about that part. Now we jump into a cooking game, or more of an interactive visual novel. Bancho the Chef. It's a prequel. I'm not sure if there's another game before this, but according to Google, it's a spin-off of another game called Dave the Diver, which I've never played. So, yeah. Now, I'm not a big fan of hip-hop, but otherwise this could be interesting. Since I am a cook as my primary job, I am always interested in seeing if the things in games are as accurate in real life. And seeing how it is a novel-like story, I'm wondering if there's different paths you can go down, like different endings kind of thing. Who knows? Taking place in Japan, you play as Bancho as he becomes a master sushi chef. Sushi is something I do not enjoy personally. Now, not a whole lot of information as of right now, as it's still in development. Should be one to keep an eye on, though. I know I will be. Now, I'm probably going to be mispronouncing this. Kimuri? Kimuri is a demon fighting game. The world of the physical and spiritual have been combined, and you have to fight the spirits. Now, I get the worlds are mixed up now, but what we are shown here is kind of bare. Now, the game is still in development, and you can tell with how barren it looks. I know it's a minuscule complaint, but it just looks bleh. You can play alone or with others, gathering gear from fallen demons and mastering them with contracts. This looks like it will mix up how you can play and fight, making it not so limited on moves, and depending on how the system works, you can swap out the spirits with different builds and sets on the fly. There are 3 classic RPG classes you can play as. Classic sword fighter, the bow/range fighter, and a magic user. I hope they come up with some more, but the classes they have now are the classics and best, in my opinion. This looks like it's a half goofy, half serious game, and I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to seeing more as we get closer to a possible release window. Tomb Raider has returned, and it's going back to her roots. Very much a platformer and puzzle game, this has been something the fans have been looking forward to for a long time. Myself, I've never played the old games, but I have them waiting to do so. But I will be getting this game pretty much no matter what when I start playing them. From what I understand, this is also an official remake/reboot of the original Tomb Raider that came out in the 90s, which is cool. I mean, how can you say no to one of the original badass lady shoe-shaped games from the 90s? I can't. We are then teased about a Jurassic Park-style game called The Lost Wild. A kid is telling his dad about their favorite dinosaur, but the car gets hit, and we have to assume this has a major impact on the game itself, but in the context of the trailer, this literally means nothing. How? Well, initially we are shown a woman is hiding as dinos are seemingly hunting her. No weapon and sometimes no place to hide. We are just shown this is a survival horror game that involves dinosaurs. Not a whole lot to go on, and I guess this is geared towards a small group of players. However, this does not pique my personal interest. We are then shown a little bit more of the upcoming game, Phantom Blade Zero. Now, this is just a teaser trailer, so not a whole lot is shown. If I recall, this is another Souls-like game, but unlike most, I'm actually looking forward to this one. And they have a deep dive coming later this summer that I will be keeping an eye on and make my choice from there. Dune Awakening, a open-world survival RPG that takes place on the world of the movies/books. I honestly forget how to pronounce it, and I don't feel like looking it up. I'm lazy. I don't know much about Dune, but I do intend to watch the movie soon enough so I can finally get caught up on something. But even given that, I think this game would be easy enough to understand on its own. You can play alone or with some friends as you look for something called the Fremen, the Sleeper. I have no idea what it is. You'll be able to build bases, have to do research trees to grow your tech and power, and so far there are 4 classes to play as. I mean, it feels just like another game in the genre, with a Dune skin slapped on it, which kind of sucks. At the same time, it may be a little different. Honestly, though, I don't think it looks like a $70 game. I'm hoping more for $40. We'll see later on, but not 100% sure if I will be getting this one just because of the style of game it is. Dynasty Warriors 3 Complete Edition Remastered. I never was a really big fan of these games. I've had a couple of them, but I never really got into them, like, majorly. I am sure I said I was going to get the last one. I think it was Origins. I just couldn't But this is a full remaster of the PlayStation 2 Classic, which is a step in the right direction, in my opinion, even if I'm not getting it. I just feel like going back into the old catalog, even if it is like doing these remasters a little bit from that era, is a better idea. And next is another Souls-like game, which, like I said before, I'm not a big fan of. This time it's an overhead camera. No rest for the wicked. I am skipping this one. Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Now, I never played the others, and for one good reason. I didn't have a PlayStation back then. However, this looks like another Souls-like. This looks like it could be good, but like I said before, I'm not a big fan of them. I may try the demo and see if I change my mind, but as of right now, this is going to be a pass for me. The story follows the legendary samurai Miyamoto Mashushi, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, which I probably did, as he fights the Oni. Along the way, he has to decide if his honor and fame is worth sacrificing human souls for him to get stronger. An interesting choice, and I'm sure it will grow as a moral dilemma and offer different skills. I could be wrong, because it's hinted in the trailer that he does take the human souls in the trailer, but we shall see. Another survival horror game is next. Kind of seeing the trend along here. It starts off like a movie and then jumps to a Silent Hill-like vibe. And I can suddenly understand why, since this is the next Silent Hill game. A first-person game with a third-person cutscenes, Silent Hill Townfall looks to be a survival horror game where you taking your time and being quiet and sneaky is key for you making it out. There were no weapons or combat shown in the trailer, which I think could work. Too many horror games have weapons, and they kind of take away from some of the horror aspect, in my opinion. But we shall see more as the date gets closer. The comeback of Ace Combat is here. This fighter pilot game has been gone for a little while now, but this comeback looks awesome. Very much an anime-feeling gaming and story. Ace Combat 8 doesn't seem to be stepping too far out from what it was before. The feel and look of chaos while in the sky will definitely be awesome, and I look forward to seeing more. Ace Combat 8 Wings of Thief will also come with another game, Ace Combat 0 The Belkin War, if you pre-order. Now, Zero is a prequel to the whole series, it seems. Originally, it was on the PlayStation 2, and it makes its comeback on the PlayStation 5 with updated graphics. Next is a racing game. Yay. Or so I thought. This actually is a game called Stuntman. Honestly, these games have always been a lot of fun. You go around a movie set and get as many points as you can by doing different actions that is dictated. This type of game has always been so much fun, and this one looks like it'll stick to their roots and be just as much fun, if not more fun. I can't wait to see and play more of it when it comes out. Stuntman Hollywood, you'll be able to drive as many classic cars like Knight Rider and Back to the Future. This is a definite get for me.
It's scary!
A survival horror game is shown. This one is called Ill. It looks like a Resident Evil style game. It looks very impressive graphics-wise. But it does not look like something I personally would be getting. It's just not one of my favorite genres. From what we've seen, it's very bloody and very violent with a mystery. It looks like it has the potential to be a great game. I'll probably keep an eye on to see what more comes from it, but as of right now, it's not in my wheelhouse. Control Resonance is the sequel to Control. Now, I did start this game a few years ago, but stopped. I don't remember why. But with this new one coming out, I'll probably be picking it up again. Honestly, I have no idea what's going on. Although I think that may not 100% matter here. I'm not sure. An organization keeping the supernatural at bay, and the supernatural escapes and is wreaking havoc on the real world. That always makes me wanting to know a little bit more, though the subplot of the only one who can save us is someone we've locked up for many years and may hate us, is kind of burned out at this point. But we shall see how this plays out as we get closer to the date. Marathon. No, I'm not doing this. Nope, skipping. Skip. Not because of Destiny 2 ending, because honestly I stopped playing that game years ago, but I don't give a shit about Marathon. So,
Next!
Now, RuneScape Dragon Wilds. I used to play a game by the same name, RuneScape. Many people in my school did, and this isn't the same game. I'm not even sure if this old one is still around or not, but when I hear RuneScape, I think of that one, not this one. This looks like honestly, in my opinion, it looks like a smoother Minecraft. Like, it's not all blocky. There's magic involved this time. And honestly, it does nothing for my excitement levels. If I see more, I may change my mind, but this doesn't look like a game I would personally be getting. Next, we are shown things that are going on the Classics tab and the PS Plus stuff, so nothing worth covering. Until Dawn 2 is in a genre of games I like. A make-your-own adventure style of story where your choices matter and literally change the entire game. Everyone can live and everyone can die, and that is their catchphrase. I didn't play the first one because at the time it didn't appeal to me, and this one I might actually get it. The premise of ghost hunters who don't find ghosts and suddenly are faced with horrors they've never faced with before honestly is not new or noteworthy, but it looks like it could be a good place or a theme for this game. I also kind of enjoy the idea of choosing who lives or not to see how many endings there could be, or just how many paths there are to get to the truth of what's going on. This will be on my list to watch, and I look forward to seeing a little bit more on this one. And we finally end the state of play with a game I personally didn't think needed to happen. God of War Le Fay. Now, this game will follow Faye, and for those who don't know, this is the second wife of Kratos, the Greek god of war in this universe. I can say a lot about her role in Norse games that started in 2018, but I will honestly say I never found her to be that interesting of a character to warrant her own game. This isn't about her past that we know of yet, but her way into the world of the dead. I will just say at the start of 2018, she is already dead. So that's why she's in the world of the dead. This place called Everwin, or Everywin. I don't know. I'm bad at coming up names. I could have come up with something a little bit better. So it seems like this world is sort of a purgatory for gods. There is some sort of gate that is blocked off, and it's hinted at the gods. It's hinted at that the gods who are here are either hard to kill again, or may not even be capable of doing so, dying off. I don't know. There's a sword that the bad guy is afraid of, so it could be that the blade is able to kill gods forever. We don't know. I mean, teaser trailer. And this is the part where I've been getting a lot of crap over the last couple of days. The combat, to me, is just like the last two God of War games. Over the shoulder and combo heavy, with enemies who are damage sponges. There's even a small companion who will help you out, which we had in the last two games. And it's possible that there's some hand-holding back, which was a big complaint for the last one. The other issue already for me is that, once again, it looks like it will be a cutscene heavy game. Like I said before, Sony needs to move away from these games and quick, because it's a huge annoyance and it isn't helping people to want to get their games. The two villains that are shown don't look Norse or Greek. They later confirmed to be from Tibetan and Egyptian myths. Now, I like the idea of mixing the cultures, but again, this isn't a game I was necessarily looking for it to happen. A slight pivot. Something got my attention in the trailer that's already a bit of retconning in the lore. At one point, Faye said that she couldn't accept that she was dead. But she planned to die in 2018, so Kratos and Atreus would get to Jotunheim and start Ragnarok, with her death at the start of it. Did the writers forget this or something? As I said before, the cutscene and combo-heavy games are not a lasting formula, and Sony needs to get its first-party studios to move away from them. While I do enjoy story-focused games, when you have games like Wolverine and God of War feel like they are meant to be more movies or TV shows, then you have a problem. I hope I'm wrong, but neither one of these games really tickled my fancy. The few games that I did like are not PlayStation and they are third-party. This isn't necessarily a good sign in my opinion. We were told a few years ago that the plan was to release some games on other platforms and hoping to get enough people to want to play more games or sequels and get a PlayStation 5. This isn't working, as recent data show that game sales are going down. It also seems that they are pulling back on putting their games on other platforms, namely the single-player ones. At least they're smart enough to know that they need others for multiplayer games. But one reason for this, in my opinion, is because of the sameness of first-party games. Sony needs to go back to the PlayStation 2 days, where they had a huge number of different styles of games. You know, when games were goofier and more fun and nothing was too serious about itself. Yes, you had some games that were, but for the most part, they were a great way to escape reality for a couple of hours and just goof off. But it seems like Sony wants more serious games that feel like movies and less goofy, unserious games. I'm glad to see Stuntman and Rayman make a comeback and stick to how they were before. This is something that needs to come back with PlayStation, in my opinion. As soon as you either start bringing back the old IPs that drove sales and make them more lighthearted again, then you may bring more people back to the ecosystem. Again, my opinion. Overall, this state of play was meh. A few games I'm interested in are definitely the standouts of the event, and Xbox is coming up on Sunday. I'm interested to see if any of them are Sugarland 2. Well, with that, thank you for watching and listening, and have a good day. I'll talk to you later. See ya.